Wear your equipment, because I happen to be wearing mine that day and it saved my life.
This is the Enhanced Combat Helmet, the ECH. It was a joint Army-Marine program to replace the Advanced Combat Helmet, the ACH. It's a polyethylene shell and generally weighs equal to the ACH it supplanted back in 2012. Mike B put out a video of it stopping all sorts of random civilian rounds, and it was even able to stop a 7.62 by 51 round, though the deformation was fatal. It isn't a rifle-rated helmet, obviously, and polyethylene has a tendency to stop powerful rounds, but cause unacceptable deformation in the process. Props to Mike B for shooting that expensive helmet though, and big props to Khrushchevsky Military Supply for sending me this ECH. Khrushchevsky is an online military surplus store. Khrush himself and his warehouse gremlin are working a lot on cool projects, including a run of T-block pattern smocks. I would recommend following Khrushchevsky on Twitter or subscribing to their newsletter to get notified when they're released, as those smocks are going to evaporate the moment they are released. So, in testing helmets like this, I like to start with steel core 9mm ammo. Kevlar helmets pretty much universally cannot stop direct hits from steel core ammo. However, the ECH isn't Kevlar. This round I'm using is a Swedish M39B steel jacketed round. It's a bit of an oddball, as it has a steel jacket and a lead core as opposed to the steel core you'd expect. This round easily penetrates NIJ-3A Kevlar soft armor. Let's shoot it out of a Glock 34. Yep. It'll be at around 1,300 feet per second.
Ready? You got me?
Yep.
This first shot penetrated easily. However, my close friend Corbin suggested that it might have been because of the screw hole.
Great start, huh? Ready? Stopped it. Wow, that's really good. That's actually really fucking good. Very similar to the IHIPs though. But it shows how the holes kind of can compromise the protection.
Yeah.
Although the deformation is pretty substantial, this shows better performance than what any Kevlar helmet would have. It's also a warning about these polyethylene helmets. I wouldn't want to take an ECH and mod it myself into a high-cut helmet like you might cut a Kevlar helmet into. The material is significantly weaker around the screw holes, and any cuts you make to the shell would ruin the integrity. That screw hole weakness is a problem that the IHIPs was supposed to address. And the IHIPs did decently against legacy steel core as well. So let's test the ECH where the IHIPs failed. Energy. I'm going to hit it with a soft point 44 Magnum 240 grain bullet at 1,600 feet per second. This is around 200 feet faster than a true NIJ-3A certification.
What do you think? I think that's actually pretty nice.
Yeah, that's actually pretty good.
Interestingly, the deformation from this angle is very similar to the steel jacketed 9mm round. For good measure, I hit it again from the other side.
Ready?
Yep.
Much more serious and absolutely fatal deformation this time. That's one less loose end. So this is where it's really important to nitpick the results so far. An ACH helmet comparatively can stop 44 Magnum loads like this with very low deformation, as seen on Mr. Guns and Gears channel. However, those same ACH helmets will fail against steel pistol projectiles like our M39B, whereas our ECH is able to stop direct hits from steel rounds, so long as it isn't around a weaker spot like the drill holes. So what helmet is better? Well, let's do our due diligence here. To make sure the ECH is able to at least have acceptable deformation against smaller rounds, I followed up with a normal PMC ammo, 115 grain 9mm round going at around 1,200 feet per second. Virtually no deformation whatsoever. Even after these 44 Magnum impacts, the helmet can easily stop bullets on its uncompromised sections. So it's better than the IHIPs for being able to actually stop regular 9mm with acceptable deformation. So now we know that the ECH can stop steel-cored pistol rounds where the ACH would fail, but the ECH fails against higher energy impacts where the ACH would succeed. The ECH is also more rigid than the IHIPs. In most cases between the ACH and the ECH, I'd say you'd be fine with either helmet. To decide on one or the other is really some obsessive min-maxing. They both offer great protective advantages, and there are certainly many worse options. It really is a matter of context. In a conventional war, it makes more sense to use the ECH because even subsonic rifle rounds will penetrate the ACH so long as they have steel cores. The ECH's ability to better stop rounds that contain steel is very relevant against conventional threats on a modern battlefield, as all major armies primarily use steel core ammunition. Perhaps law enforcement should stick to using Kevlar helmets, where steel core ammunition is significantly less common for the most part, and deformation is a factor against high energy threats like shotgun slugs or larger magnum rounds. This is really splitting hairs though, and I've still got more polyethylene helmets to test, like the Ops cores. Hopefully the Ops core helmets improved on the rigidity of polyethylene more than the ECH does.